Let's talk about delivering lean value stream mapping actions using Agile project management. We start from the perspective of the process owner. Here's Mary. She's a process owner. Mary has used Lean to help identify improvements in the process that she owns. Using value stream mapping, Mary has co-developed with the process stakeholders a process achievable future state or vision that she is really passionate about. She knows why we are fixing the process, what problems it's going to solve, and for who. Here are the stakeholders. They're the people who are going to use and support or be anyway affected by the process. Mary's vision is that these people here will love the process and use it all the time. The stakeholder needs have been identified in the vision and lean action plans have been developed. Each action plan details a number of tasks needed in order to deliver an improvement. For example, if this was an action plan to deliver more useful and effective reporting processes for stakeholders, there would be a number of tasks or ideas generated by stakeholders in order to achieve the improvement, and Mary needs to turn these into detailed tasks to be delivered. Now somebody actually needs to deliver the tasks, so here they are, a small, co-located, cross-functional, self-organising team of action owners. So if this is an Agile team, they don't save up for a big bang release of an improved process. Instead, they deliver tasks early and often. In this case, they normally deliver 4 to 6 tasks a week, so that is their capacity. Capacity is easy to measure. Just count the number of tasks delivered a week. Some tasks are big and count as 2. Some are small and count as a half. But all in all, it counts up to 4 to 6 tasks per week. The time frame for delivery, in this case a week, is called the sprint. A sprint to deliver the 4 to 6 tasks. The problem is, here are a bunch of stakeholders asking for all kinds of improvements, and they sure aren't going to be limited to 4 to 6 per week. They have lots of ideas and lots of wishes, and every time we deliver something to them, they will get even more ideas and probably ask for more stuff. So what happens if we try to please them or do everything they ask for? We'll get overflow. Suppose the team starts working on 10 tasks per week. So if the input is 10 and the output is 4 to 6, then the team get overloaded. This causes multitasking, demotivation and all sorts of bad stuff. Ultimately, this will lower quality of the end result. It's a lose-lose proposition. It's like shoving more cars onto an already jammed freeway system. It just doesn't work. It makes things worse. So what do we do about this? Well, the Agile way is called yesterday's weather. The team says, well, the past few weeks we have delivered 4 to 6 tasks per week. So which 4 to 6 tasks shall we build this week? And the process owner's job is to figure out all of the possible actions. Which 4 to 6 tasks will we deliver next? The Agile way is to limit work in progress, or limit WIP. Suppose the team decides that 5 is the optimal number of tasks to be worked on simultaneously. They learn that it's just enough to keep everyone busy without causing overload. So they decide that 5 is their WIP limit. Whenever they finish one task, they will accept a new one, thereby ensuring that they never break the limit of 5 actions. A side effect, though, is that there will be a queue or backlog forming in front of the team, and that queue is called a product backlog. The backlog needs to be managed. Suppose stakeholders keep asking for 10 new tasks or improvements every week, and the team's delivering 4 to 6 tasks every week. That means the backlog will keep growing, right? So, before you know it, you have a 6-month-long wish list of actions and growing. That means on average, every action the team delivers is something that was asked for 6 months ago. Now, how agile is that? So there is really only one way to manage the backlog, and that word is no. It is the most important word for the process owner, and Mary practices every day in front of the mirror. Saying yes to a new task request is easy, especially if it means just adding it to an ever-growing backlog. The most important job for the process owner is to decide what not to deliver and take the consequences of that decision. And that is why it is hard, of course. The process owner decides what goes in and what goes out. The product owner also decides the sequencing. What do we do now? What do we do later? And how long does that backlog need to be? That's a hard job. So Mary does not do it alone. She does it in collaboration with the team and stakeholders. This communication and collaboration happens through backlog reviews and scrum meetings, a 15-minute effective process where 3 questions are asked. What have you completed? What are you focusing on next? And are there any roadblocks? To be able to prioritise, the process owner must have some idea of the value of delivering each task as well as the effort required. Some tasks are critically important to the improvement and add most value. Some are small and may add bonus features. Some tasks take just a few hours to do. Some take months. Now, guess what the correlation is between task value and task effort? That's right, none. Bigger does not mean more value. Think of any process or system that you have used, and I bet you can think of at least one really simple feature that is very important and that is used every day. And I bet you can think of at least one huge, complicated feature that is totally unimportant. Value and effort is what helps Mary prioritise intelligently. Okay, that sounds easy enough. But wait a second. How does Mary know the value of a task? And how does she know how much effort is required? Well, here is the bad news. She doesn't. It's a guessing game, and it's a game that everyone is involved in. Mary continuously talks to stakeholders to find out what they value, and she continuously talks to the team to find out what they think in terms of implementation effort. These are relative guesses, not absolute numbers. I don't know what this apple weighs or that strawberry, but I'm pretty sure the apple weighs at least 5 times as much as that strawberry, and that tastes better, to me at least. And that's all Mary needs to know in order to prioritise the backlog. It's a pretty cool thing that way. At the beginning, our guesses will inevitably be inaccurate, but that's okay, as the biggest value is in the conversations rather than in the actual numbers. And every time the team delivers a task, we learn and get better at guessing both the value and the effort. That's why we continuously prioritise and estimate. Trying to get it all right at the beginning is pretty dumb, because that's when we know the least. The feedback loop is our friend. Prioritisation is not enough though. In order to deliver quickly and often, we need to break the actions down into bite-sized pieces, preferably just a few hours per action. We want this nice funnel shape of small clear actions at the front and more vague actions at the back. By doing this breakdown in a just-in-time fashion, we can take advantage of our latest insights into the process and stakeholders' needs. All this stuff I've been talking about, estimating the value and effort of the actions, prioritising, splitting, all that is usually called backlog grooming. Mary would run a backlog review meeting weekly, and the whole team is there, and sometimes a few stakeholders as well. That agenda varies a bit. Sometimes it focuses on estimation and sometimes on splitting actions, etc. etc. So I hope you're noticing the theme here: communication. Process ownership is all about communication. So it's no coincidence that the first principle of an Agile manifesto is individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So process owner's job is not to spoon feed the team with tasks. That's ineffective. Mary instead makes sure everyone understands the vision and that the team is in direct contact with the stakeholders and that there is a short feedback loop in terms of frequent deliveries to real users. That way, the team learns and can make trade-off decisions on their own. So Mary can focus on the big picture. So let's look at a customer value perspective. The curve looks like this at the beginning. As we begin, we start to reduce uncertainty. As this happens, we gradually focus more and more on customer value. We know what we are going to action and how, so just do it. And by doing the highest value tasks first, we get this nice steep value curve, and then gradually the value curve starts flattening out. The most important improvement has now been delivered, and we're just adding bonus features. This is a nice place to be, because at any point Mary might decide to trim the tail and move on to another more important action plan. So when I talked about value, I actually meant we get knowledge value plus customer value, and we have to continuously find the trade-off between the two. Once in a while, a stakeholder will call Mary and say, "When will my stuff be done?" Or, "How much will be done by Christmas?" This is where visual management plays its part. As process owner, Mary is responsible for expectation management, or more importantly, realistic expectations management. It's not really that hard to make a forecast as long as you don't have to be exact. To measure the velocity of the team, you can draw an action burn-up chart like this. This chart shows the cumulative number of actions delivered over time. Notice the difference. This curve shows output. This curve shows outcome. That's the output and that's the outcome that we know it will achieve. Our goal is not to produce as much output as possible. Our goal is to reach the desired outcome. Happy stakeholders using the least possible output. Less is more. Looking at the burn-up chart, you can draw an optimistic and pessimistic trend line. You can draw it using fancy statistics, voodoo, or you can just draw it visually. The gap between the lines is of course related to how wavy and unpredictable the velocity is. Luckily, that tends to stabilise over time. So, back to expectation management. Suppose the stakeholders ask Mary, "When will all of this stuff be done?" Or, "When will we be here?" That's a fixed scope, variable time question. So Mary uses the two trend lines to answer. Most likely it is sometime between June and mid-July. Suppose the stakeholders ask Mary, "How much will be done by Christmas?" That's a fixed time variable scope question. The trend line tells us that we will most likely finish all of this by Christmas, some of those and none of those. And finally, suppose the stakeholders ask Mary, "Can we get all these actions done by Christmas?" Now, that's a fixed time, fixed scope question. Looking at trend lines, Mary can say, "No, sorry, it isn't going to happen," followed by, "Here's how much we can get done by Christmas," or "Here's how much time we would need to get everything done." So Mary puts it this way: we could deliver something here and the rest later, or we could deliver nothing here and the rest later. Which do you prefer? The important thing here is that we are using real data to update the forecast and that we are being honest about uncertainty. This is a very honest way of visualising status and communicating with stakeholders, and they usually appreciate it a lot. Okay, What if we have a larger number of action plans across multiple processes with multiple teams? Therefore, we have several process owners, each with their own backlog. Overall, the model is really the same. We still need capacity management, we still need stakeholder communication, we still need process owners who can say no, we still need backlog grooming, we still need assured feedback loop, etc. The velocity is really the sum of all output so that it can be used for forecasting or making a separate forecast for each team, if that makes more sense. In a multiple team scenario, however, the process owners have an additional responsibility to talk to each other. We should organise teams and backlogs to minimise dependencies, but there will always be some dependencies that we can't get rid of. There needs to be some kind of sync between the product owners so that the actions are undertaken in a sensible order and avoid sub-optimising. In larger projects, this may call for a chief process owner role to keep the process owners synchronised. Okay, so there it is. But before we go, let's just draw a simple process to summarise. Firstly, there is the product backlog. We've spoken about that. Next, we have the sprint planning. We take the backlog and plan for our next sprint. What are the deliverables in the next sprint timeline? Now we run our sprint, delivering the actions within the sprint timeline. Here we have the daily Scrum meetings and update our burn up, burn down chart. At the end of the sprint, a quick review to learn how we went and improve the planning for the next time. Finally, a backlog review, where we undertake the backlog grooming before planning the next sprint cycle. Okay, that's it. Using Agile project management to deliver lean VSM actions. We hope this was useful to you.